Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Train Sim World, and welcome back to, oh geez, okay. Pardon me. Yeah, these yards there's stuff going on in them which I find very, very cool. So we were told, do this safely, we were told to get this train right here directly in front of us. This is going to be a Harrisburg service and we are supposed to get it ready to go to New York Penn. And this is I'll tell you in a second for reals, but this is the SW1000R DLC, although the train that we're going to be getting in is not that one. We're going to do a service that involves the Metroliner Cab Car. All right, you know what? Let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. It's been a while since I've been in this sim. Let's do that so we find everything a little more quickly. All right, press the battery button for at least 5 seconds. I can do that. 1 1000, a 2 1000, a 3 1000, a 4 1000, and 5 1000. Beautiful. Sit in the engineer's seat. You got it. So we sit right here. Set the reverser to neutral. I can do that. There you go. All right. Now what would you like? Oh, here we go. Pantograph button, pardon me. Pantograph button up. I've got very limited space on my desk, so I gotta do the mouse hump every now and then. You know what I'm talking about, where you hold the button down and kind of hop it sideways. Right. Hold the HEP into the start position for at least 5 seconds. We can do this. There we go. Oh, something's happening. Something's happening. There we go. Okay. Back to the driver's seat. Set the reverser to out. Done. All right. Sit in the other engineer's seat. Clearly, it's 160 yards away. So we're going to open the door, hop down right here, close the door. We'll take a little walk. So I guess primarily this DLC is that Amtrak switching loco, but it also comes with this. These are Metroliner. If you're not familiar with American railroads, these are the Amtrak Metroliner cars. They run primarily on the East Coast. Oh man, American railroads are so goofy. They're nothing like European railroads. So what would be, I guess they would be longer routes by European standards, but by American standards, they're kind of short, a couple 100 miles. So they run, obviously, the Northeast Corridor, which is like Boston. I would say it's Boston down to about Richmond, Virginia, but then inwards all the way into places like Pittsburgh and Cleveland and places in Tennessee and so forth that are just a few 100 miles from the coast, but, I mean, they're not quite far enough to fly. How do we get in here? That's not a door. They're not quite far enough to fly, but they make for kind of a long, not the most enjoyable trip. Amtrak is, it struggles. It always has. But anyway, those cars are the cars, coaches, carriages, what are we calling them? Whatever they are. That's what you would see all over the East Coast. And here we go. Set the reverser to neutral. Can do that. Neutral. Set the MCB switch to closed. All right. Set the brake mode to trail. Done. Set the reverser to forward. Parking brake to off. All right. Automatic brake to release. Can do that over here. There you go. Apply some throttle and reach 5 miles per hour. You got it. We need some stuff in here. First, we need some lights because I got to see everything. What is that? Don't need a bell. Headlights, yep. Get some headlights on. Strobe lights. Don't know what those are. Don't need them. Oh, we got to slow down a little bit. moment. We need some wipers too. Pantograph, wipers, gauge lights on. There's wipers. Right, there's some wiper. Just a touch of brake. There we go. So I took a look at the, well, not quite that much. I took a look at the scenarios, and actually this loco right in front of us here, right there to the left, that is the SW1000R. And I guess that's what this whole DLC is about. Oh, that's a nice screenshot. A moment. We get over here a little ways. Turn that off. There we go. Turn all that off. There we go. It's a nice little screenshot, maybe. Right, so it is primarily about that SW1000R switching loco, but then it also comes with this cab car. I thought this would be a lot more fun. I enjoy yard work, but it tends to be very, very slow. Doesn't make for the best video. So what else do we got going on here? We can turn these off now. We've got those on. We've got our wipers on. We've got our lights on. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So there've been like 6 DLCs in the past couple months, and several of them added. They added locos that you already owned. They added existing locos that you owned to routes that you owned. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I understand Dovetail's a business. They got to make their money, yo. But I struggle with that because it can get expensive. It really can. There's a ton of DLC for Train Simulator, and I assume there will be a ton for Train Sim World. But I thought I would get this one, and the other one I got is the, it's a vintage British, I guess, historical line. In fact, I can look it up right now. We got time. We're in a train. We're going nowhere, man. We're going slow. Give me just a second here, and I'll look it up for you. It is the... if I can find it. It is the... right here. It is the Darlington Saltburn by the Sea route. Yeah, that's right. Darlington Saltburn by the Sea. That was released on May 23rd. And then this one that we're in right now, got to slow down a little bit. This one that we're in right now was released on June 20th, just a couple days ago. So I figured, I saw this one, and because it's only a couple locos adding to the Northeast Corridor route, I thought, let me get these, and then let me get a new route as well. So I got that other one. However, it's very similar to some of the other British routes that we have. Not that I mind that. I enjoy that type of scenario and that type of, I don't know, scenery, vignette, whatever you want to call it. I do like it. I'm curious why, and it could be because they're reusing models. I don't know. But I'm curious why Dovetail has not brought some Western U.S. routes into the game. I hear a lot of people talking about Union Pacific routes, people talking about Japan, France, people want Brazil. There are a lot of railroads in the world, and I feel like we're really focused on Britain, Germany, and the U.S. right now. And I think maybe they could stretch out a little bit. But hey, you know what? It's not my company. It's not my company. So, good things that I can tell you about this. They do continue to optimize the game. It's interesting. Every time they drop a DLC, whether you buy it or not, the game seems to download like a gig or two when you fire up Steam. And I assume that has something to do with, in the same way that Euro Truck, typically when they release a DLC, they also release a patch right about the same time. And the two sort of go hand in hand, So I feel like Dovetail does the same thing. Now this is running, they've got a proprietary, I want to say they've got a proprietary graphics engine, but then it runs on Unreal 4, which has seen some updates recently. Unreal 4 has. So essentially what I'm saying is they continue to tighten the game up. And I know initially back when it was just the CSX Heavy Haul, before it was Train Sim World. Same game, different name. But when it was initially released, it was... oh, is that it? The service is due to depart from New York at 14:11. No, okay, we got a little ways to go here. Okay, thought we were done. Going back to when the game first dropped as CSX Heavy Haul, it has been not the best optimized game. It beats up frame rate a little bit, apparently on most systems. So I don't feel bad that it's just my system or anything. It can be a little bit of a pig, but it does seem to be improving. And I'm curious how much of that has to do with what Dovetail is doing, how much of it has to do with Unreal being tuned up as well. But regardless, the game gets, I feel, faster and cleaner and smoother every time they update it, which I really appreciate. Anytime a developer continues to try to make a game better, I appreciate that, because you've already got my money. You know, you don't have to take care of me, but I would like it if you did. You know, I think that'd be nice. So Dovetail seems to be doing that. Now, on the other hand, in fairness, when I read through some of the threads, when I see some of the comments that people make about these games, about these DLCs, and about the Train Sim World franchise, all of it, I see a lot of people saying, you know, you gotta fix these bugs. There's tons of bugs, little things in the game that need work, and I don't know what the status of those is, or what Dovetail is doing to address that. So I think the game gets better every patch, every DLC. Some people seem to think it needs work. But hey, what do I know? We turn these wipers off. Don't need that anymore. I said we don't need that anymore. Okay. So that is done. We turn this off now. And we need to be careful going into New York Penn. I typically overshoot. And we are going under the river right now, so we're going to go downhill for a while, and then we're going to go uphill. And if you time it just right, just about the time you would need to apply some brakes, you start going uphill again, and you can just coast right into the platform without losing any time. We got 3 minutes to get there. I think we're going to be hopefully right on time. Hopefully right on time. So anyway, nothing but good things to say about this. The bugs, you know, I like trains, but I am not what you would call a rail fan. And I know some of the people that I see commenting, like, they're obviously really, really into trains in ways that I'm not. And so they can spot differences and flaws and problems and things that I don't notice and that really don't bother me. So I think we might need a touch of brake here. Just a little bit. There we go. So I don't notice some of these things that people seem to spot. I don't notice them, and they don't bother me. I just enjoy the game, and I enjoy it more and more as it gets, like I said, faster and cleaner and crisper and smoother. I'd like to see more DLC, but, you know, then if they release DLC, I'd complain about that and say, oh, they're just trying to squeeze money out of me. So, of course, we're never happy. We're gamers. Of course, we're never happy. But, and you know what fascinates me? In the same way that the Long Island Railroad apparently really resonated with people. Like, people are really into the Long Island Railroad. That's cool. And to see the way that people responded to something like this control car, which to me is not that big a deal. But like I said, I'm not a rail fan in the same way that some people are, that they would, you know, that this control car or the SW1000 or some of the British routes, that it would really like mean something to people, that they would really, I don't want to say get fired up about it, but just, I don't know, that it resonates with them. It's important to them. So I like that. And I mean, for me, it's just a fun game to play, but I know that it's also concentrating. I know it's also something people can take very, very seriously. So we will we'll get in here. I think that it said the scenario goes about 30 minutes. So hopefully we can keep it at 30 minutes. I got a comment. Somebody said my My videos are slower than the tutorials, and it's one of those things that when you hear it, you're like, wait a minute. What does that mean? Because that could mean a couple of things. I don't know exactly what that means. But, you know, I play slowly and methodically. I always have. Always have. All right, we've got 10 seconds to get there. We're going to be late. We're always late. If this is the first train video of mine that you've seen, we are always late. Always late. Right, and now from here, I don't know where we're going. Because it said half an hour. It's been a minute. And I know this route doesn't go to Harrisburg. Like in real life it does, but not in the NEC DLC. So I'm curious where we're going to go from here. This is a really cool, pulling into New York Penn, this is a really cool part of the map. I've always liked this. It's a really big area too. All right, we're going to go down to the end here. Finally, it seems like you can turn off permanently the colored markers that appear under the track in front of you to give you a visual indication of where to stop the train rather than just watching the yards countdown in the top. I prefer to do the latter. I find it more realistic. And those markers, as many times as I turn them off, they kept turning back on. It looks like they finally set it up so that when you turn them off, they stay off. All right. See if we can hit our mark here. Concentrating. Boom. Okay. Are we done with the scenario, or are we just picking up passengers? Unlock the doors. We're picking up. So we unlock on the right. Let's hop out, take a look. Do a little external view here. Now, moment. Is it my right? Is it game right? I need to see some doors open. Yeah, I think I see. Yeah, the doors are open. Okay. Sorry to bounce you around with the camera, but I just needed to confirm that we were right, because we're at the back of the train, technically. As far as I know, it's always driver's right, driver's left, but just confirming that we didn't sit here for a minute with the doors on the wrong side of the train open. And while we're doing this, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Beautiful. So, here we go. Lock the doors. All right. York Penn, brakes are off. Pressure's up. Here we go. So 9 miles. We got about 12 minutes. We can do this. There's always been great sound in this game too. I don't know how well you can hear it. I'll try to balance it out when I edit the video. But there's always been really, really good sound. I find it to be good sound. And I got some comments from people for the Long Island Railroad video that I did, and what I heard people saying was, yeah, like everything, the sound of the doors opening, the sound of the trains passing, being on the train, being near the trains from outside, it's all extremely accurate sound. Moment. There we go. And I always forget to check this as well and just confirm that we are, all our switches are set properly and we're good to go. I think we're good to go. All right. Give it a little power here. And I think I said this last video. I think about this all the time. Somewhere right now, somebody is driving this exact train on this exact route, like in real life. That fascinates me. It really does. And every time, every time I get a train sim, I also think, you thought the truck videos were slow. Oh, we can slow it down way more than that. Way more than that. Now, we're at, obviously, we're in a tunnel right now. There's very little scenery. I mean, 3/4 of the screen is black. And then we're just seeing a little bit of movement, and it's not very complicated and not a ton of textures in the center there. Hang on, let me get some brakes going. No, and now we don't need them. But if we're not in a yard, this game, and that's what I mean when I say they've been optimizing it. If we're not in a yard, the game holds pretty good FPS, and I don't get down about it because I know it's always been, like I said, it's had a reputation as an FPS killer. But they do seem to be improving that. We need to do, yeah, same thing. We're going under the other river now. Are we not? There we go. So right, we'll see how long it takes to get to New York Penn. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight, but I think we can do it. All right, more coffee. Hang on. I think, yeah. Is this the end of our tunnel? Sure is. There you go. Welcome to New Jersey. Beautiful. So I get a bit of this, about like that. There you go. There we go. It's funny that this is the American concept of high-speed rail, like all of 60 miles an hour. There is the Acela, and in the whole length of its route, there's, I don't know, like maybe 15 or 20% where it can really open up. But it's I don't know. It sounds like I'm bashing America. I'm not. It's just the way our transportation system evolved. People really like cars, and it is kind of a spread out place. So we just got in the habit of driving. Now what's funny is as cities grew after World War II and grew and grew and grew, regardless of how dense things got, because we love those cars, people just kept driving in cities. And the idea that people would not drive in cities, or that there would be, there are obviously train stations downtown in big cities in the east, and you can take trains from place to place, but it's you end up in that loop where, because the service is not very good, people don't use it as much as they should, and because they don't use it, there's not enough revenue to improve the services to make people want to use it more, and so on and so on. So It's just a loop. It's just a loop. I know, spending part of my childhood in London and seeing the way the trains work, and having been back, and spent time in Europe since then, and in Southeast Asia as well. It's just trains are the way a lot of people get from place to place, city to city. And I think now, as we're getting into missed that one just a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. As we get into the era of Uber and Lyft and various other things, I hope people understand that you don't necessarily have to drive somewhere. If you want to get there, you can take a train, same as you take a commuter flight. And when you get there, just rent a car or Uber. But I don't know. America has always had a love affair with the car. Nothing you can do about it. So the idea that you can change that kind of thinking overnight, I don't think that's likely to happen. And trust me when I say this, I love cars. I would be lost without them. So I include myself. I'm not pointing the finger at other people like, oh, you can't get on board public transportation, because honestly I can't either. Now, to be fair, I live on Lake Tahoe. There's no trains up that way. So it's right down here. Yeah, a little bit better that time. And then I don't know if Newark is the end of the line for us, so to speak. I think it might be. Yeah, you know what? Let's hop outside. Let's hop outside and take a look. Oh, beautiful. I love it. A little bit of stutter now and then. A little bit of stutter on the frame rate. But I think that's a combination of a game that could be optimized a little better and my machine that could be a little faster. Slow this down. All right. So I may do another video Wednesday using the SW1000R, the low switching loco. I may do that. I may not. I don't know. We'll see. Everything's always up in the air. You know that. All right. So we're going to get in here. I think Newark Penn may be the end of the line for us. Maybe. Find out in a minute. And I think we may also be on time. It's going to be close. We might be on time. It would be a miracle. All right. A little bit of brake. Just a little bit. There we are. Very nice. Very nice. Looks a little flat. The lighting today looks a little flat, but I think that's because of the rain more than anything else. I think if it were bright and sunny, it would look a little different. Slow this down. All right. And how we doing? Oh, you know what? I think we're going to be on time. I think we are. So we go right here. Turn that off. Concentrating. Concentrating. People look a little better too. Starting to look a little more fluid, you know, a little more like people. Not quite so goofy. There we go. Are we picking up or are we done? Unlock the doors. That is the right side. Cool. Let me have some coffee. And we'll take a look outside. I like it. I like it. Fact. Do a little bit like that right there. Yeah, sorry, every time it occludes through a pillar, a post, or anything at all, it bounces the camera around. I do apologize. This guy, not waiting for a train, just hanging out. Just hanging out right there by the tracks. Sir, don't do it. You have so much to live for. Right. Lock the doors on the right. There we go. We got one more. One more. Heading to the airport. Here we go. Brakes are off. More power. A little more power. Why are we going backwards? Hang on. Something's not right. Reverser to forward. Go. Why are we going backwards? I don't understand. Do we need sand? Or is there sander? I'm really baffled right now. Hang on. So, brakes are on. Do we still have power? Do we need to like reboot the system? What's going on here? I feel like we lost our power somewhere. Yeah. Oh, this game. Oh, this game. We'll figure it out. So MCB is closed. Pantograph is up. Door close. We did that, did we not? Yeah, doors are closed. Don't need that. Brake is applied. Take the brake off. Reverser to forward. Brakes are off. Right? Brakes are released. We start drifting. Oh, God. All right. Here we go. Yeah, we're going to be on time, too. We're not. We're not going to be on time. Not even close. Get our wipers back on, like so. And how far we got to go? Just a couple miles. I don't know how we're doing on time. I think this is going to be... These videos always end up being long, but what can you do? Now, the yard switching scenario was supposed to be 30 minutes. I don't know. I find they always run long for me. Maybe it's just the way I do them. But it can be a whole lot of like moving through a yard at 5 miles per hour. You know what I'm saying? I've been struggling with ways to find. I've been struggling with ways to make racing videos exciting, and that's like a race car going fast and other cars and everything else. Like, how in the world would I find a way to make a train video interesting when it's a yard loco going 5 miles an hour? So it goes. So it goes. Here we go. So we're going to slow down a little bit here. And like so. All right. There we go. I know I've got a little bit of room to accelerate here, but I figure we're already late and we're this close to the end. I really don't want to, if you like bust a red signal or do this or do that, you automatically fail the scenario. We're close enough to the end that I'm just going to coast another half mile into Newark and call it good. I don't need to get fancy pants this close and have it all go south on me. Now it's asking us to stop on track 4, not platform 4. I wonder if we're going to be, you know what I mean? Oh no, I guess this is a platform. Right, here we go. A little bit of brakes. All right. And about there. Not quite. Not quite. A little bit further. A little bit further. There we go. Right about. Right about there. Cool. Now what happens? Unlock the doors on the right. There you go. Beautiful. So I think this has to be the end because there's really not much. Newark Liberty is, yeah, there's really not a whole lot front of us. They may ask us to park the train. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but I don't think there's a whole lot more left as far as route goes. So let's see what we get here. There you go. Lock the doors. I can do that. Good work on this stretch of the journey. Another driver will take over to continue on to the next stop, Trenton, then onwards to Philadelphia and eventually Harrisburg. Well, fantastic. All right, there you go. And I mean, it's giving us green check marks. I don't know if I really believe that, but so it goes. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Train Sim World. This is the SW1000 Switcher DLC, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.